Hello, everyone. I'm John.
I'm Zach. I'm Christian.
I'm Shelby.
And this is the Album of This podcast, where we dive into the absolute scum of the music industry. Let's dive right in to the album we're going to be reviewing this week, that being called Want by 303, released in 2008. And trust me, you can tell it was released in 2008. Alright, so let's just dive right into the first song called, well, I can't say here because I am just very, very, very straight edge. It's the intro of the album called Punk, insert euphemism for female dog here. Shelby, what were your thoughts?
Well, to go along with the dog theme, you could hear they were singing and they were like growling into the microphone. It was very techno. It is very original, and this song, basically the point of the lyrics is, I'm not like other boys. He says, we datin' mad models and poppin' mad bottles tonight. What a life.
Well, it kind of sounded like the halfway point between like Lil Jon and like Blood on the Dance Floor. And if you don't know what Blood on the Dance Floor is, consider yourself lucky. Yeah. Zach?
I honestly didn't think it was a terrible song. I thought it had an upbeat tempo that I really enjoyed. I actually thought it flowed pretty well. And I thought the lyrics were kind of catchy, although they're highly profanic, but I enjoyed it.
I actually didn't have anything written down for this song. I listened to it with Zach, and we pretty much came up with that one. So I did enjoy the song. Had a good beat to it. But just like you said earlier, Jack, it sounds like the songs are just really thrown together, really. You know, they all kind of sound the same, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Okay, while we're on you, what were your opinions on the third song? Yeah, Zach, that being called Don't Trust Me, the big hit of the album.
Oh, I thought Don't Trust Me was definitely the best song on the album by far. It was somewhat normal, unlike the other songs. You can't trust them hoes, so it's kind of realistic, along with the solid beat that it had. I thought it flowed very well, so not a bad song at all.
Shelby?
I mean, I agree. It's the least awful. It's very poppy. It's like something that you would listen to, like on the way to a beach or something. Except the lyrics, I think it's the chorus. Is this the one where they talk about Helen Keller in it?
Yeah, with the awkward, out of place sound.
Is that like the last slide of the history PowerPoint I never saw? Like, what? It was just a little uncomfortable. And also, tell your boyfriend if he's got beef that I'm a vegetarian. Is that technically a pun? And if so, I think that is something that I've seen on one of those, like, some e-cards that are, like, yeah, that is all I can say. The lyrics were terrifying. Yeah. But it had a good beat. It's pretty catchy.
Hey, Christian, what are your opinions?
I've heard this song everywhere. I think it's a classic. It's not, it's 2008. It shouldn't be called a classic. But it's been played so much, and it really is not a bad song at all. I mean, you hear it at parties and everything. I think it's a good song. I truly think it's a classic. So I'm sorry if everyone hates on it, but I think it's a classic. It's a pretty good song.
I will agree with you that the instrumental is really good, and I'd argue that's probably the best song in the album along with you. But those lyrics, I don't even want to call them lyrics. They were like lyrics in the same way that McDonald's is a 5-star restaurant.
You don't listen to the song for the lyrics. You listen to it for the beat and the flow. So
yeah, but at the same time, the lyrics are still there. So
unfortunately,
yeah. Alrighty then, let's move on to the fourth song, Choke Chain. That sounds like the rejected Pokemon that no one wants in their roster. Anyways, my opinion, personally, well, let's get your opinion first, Zach.
I thought they were trying to sound a lot more masculine than they actually are.
Mm-hmm.
They're like grunting into the microphone. It sounded very bad. I thought they tried a little too hard to make it an actual song, but they failed greatly and did not enjoy it at all.
Mm-hmm. My personal opinion on it, it had like trap cymbals before like trap was a thing, so it's kind of like uncanny valley of like trap raps. It's not quite, like the modern day like, Juicy J type of production. But at the same time, it's not like the mid 2000s like Lil Jon type production. So it's kind of like that weird like cross between the two.
I thought the person that was singing sounded like Little John. Does anybody agree with me there? Like, Jack, you know who Little John is, right?
Actually, I just like referenced him like twice already, so yeah, I have a pretty good understanding of who he is.
Okay, but I think the person in the song sounded a lot like Little John. That's all I had written down for this song. I think they're just trying to cop Little John style.
They're trying to cop Lil Jon style at least 4 years after Lil Jon was relevant.
Yeah.
Shelby, what were your thoughts?
It was similar to the first song in that it had like that growling, and so I agree. It sounded like Little John in that sense, like the grunting into the microphone. But because it was just uncomfortable to listen to, and I didn't know, like, was it supposed to be rap or is it? It was just I wanted it to end. I liked the fast drumming in the background.
Okay, so oh, by the way, before we get to the next song, like, I was listening to this on Spotify, and like, all the titles were like all caps, no spaces. Like, I don't know, I just thought that was a bit weird. Like the caps lock and the space bar on their like BlackBerry because like 2008 and all, but like.
Yeah, I agree with you. All the song titles were just all capitals, no spaces. And I'm like, did these guys like drop out of high school or something? They don't know how to write a song title or something. But
my personal theory is that they dropped out of elementary school. But on to the next song. I'm Not Your Boyfriend, baby. Like, replace boyfriend with girlfriend, and you'll essentially have like every feminist response to this album ever. Like, you can make like a Jezebel article right after that, just gender swap it.
Isn't this an article on BuzzFeed?
Yeah, that's really all I have to say. But like the only like other thing I have to say about it is like they can't forget it halfway through. But I mean, guessing the type of music they've been making so far, I honestly kind of consider that a blessing. So yeah, Shelby, what were your opinions?
Like, as far as the sound, it kind of switched from like the first song to the second song, like back and over again. Like, it went from like the growling to the like pop. And I want to say more about like I can't quote the lyrics because my little sister is home. And so basically, yes, it's a feminist article, but except it says boyfriend instead of girlfriend, and that is all I have to say for "I'm Not Your Boyfriend, Baby."
Christian?
I wrote down that the flow was nice, but the lyrics just did not make sense. And just like Shelby said, the music like turned. It like was a different song every like 20 seconds. The beat changed. It turned into like pop to screaming and stuff. It was really weird. Shelby hit the nail on the head on that one. So Zach.
All right. I really didn't mind the beat to the song and the techno with it, but as Christian kind of said, the lyrics had very little relevance to the title of the song, and I also did not like how it kept just flipping back and forth. That made really no sense to me. I mean, you can do that if it's somewhat close, but I don't know. Just didn't think it flowed well at all.
Yeah, like this is like Bohemian Rhapsody if it got beat over the head repeatedly with a 2x4.
Very much so agree.
All right, so the next song, Shelby, what do you think of it? It's called I Can't Do This Alone.
This one was just awful. Okay, I wrote, it had like static. Oh, this one was the teen angst one. Okay, this ain't a broken heart homie singing. And then they talk about a graveyard in it. Like, it's quiet in a graveyard and they aren't playing 303. And so that's where I want to go when I'm listening to this album. A graveyard. That is all. And
yeah, I agree with you there. My personal opinion, like the first couple lines almost sound like a drug PSA. Oh gosh, she's really done it now. Her body's all spun around. Oh yeah, she really done it. And seeing her is just something I cannot stomach.
oh no!
Like, it almost kind of sounds like the mid-2000s version of like Hotline Bling by Drake in a sense.
I'm not your boyfriend.
Oh wait, okay. I Cannot Do It Alone. I put all caps, awful song. But actually, halfway through the song, when it like kind of like the last song, it like switched to a different beat, which I actually really enjoyed, but it only did it for like 20 seconds. Then it went back to the awful beat it had and the awful lyric. So not fond of this song. And Christian.
I Can't Do It Alone. The beginning of the song, that little techno thing, it sounded like someone farting. Really though, I'll pull it up. It sounds like someone farting. You may not remember it, but it does sound like someone farting. Just like Zach just demonstrated it. It sounds just like that. Here, I have it right here. Does that not sound like someone farting?
It sounds like a robot.
Excuse me, Jack.
Yeah, if you're gonna start a song, don't.
That's cool.
Does that not sound like someone farting, Jack?
Yeah. And the next song called Starstruck, like it kind of sounds like that song Running in the 90s.
No, I don't know what that song is.
Hold on, let me pull it up real quick. It's on YouTube. Like this song is kind of like the 2000s equivalent to like Blurred Lines, and that has really like confrontational lyrics. It has some very questionable subtext to it too. Zach, what's your opinion?
Starstruck, dumb song, but I mean it in a way had a story along with it, unlike all of the random songs in the album that just are, as Christian said earlier, just put together. But there's also another version of the song with Kesha that actually a lot better. Like even considering how bad Kesha is, it was 50 times better than this version of the song, which was really kind of trash.
Well, actually, I'm pretty sure that was actually Katy Perry.
I think it was Kesha.
I can Google it.
Please.
Well, actually, I think they did do a song together called Blah Blah Blah. It was on Kesha's album, though.
By Rich Homie Quan.
Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, see, it's Katy Perry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jack.
That's cool.
Recognizing artists.
Anyways, Christian?
Starstruck. I said that these I didn't have anything specifically for Starstruck, but this is the halfway point for me listening through the album, and I was just frustrated about having to sit through this album, and I just wrote down that all these songs sound the same. Who would like this album? That's all I wrote down for that. That's a point where I was very frustrated in Zach making me listen to this song. So I'm sorry I don't have anything there.
That's cool. It was really tempting for me to just write no for every thing.
I get that, Zach.
Yeah. Anyways, Shelby?
Starstruck had very questionable lyrics, like you said. And the most questionable of them all is, so they say make the girls go, and then they have the whistling. One of them was make the kids go. What kind of a singer? And so I was struck not by stars, but by just discomfort and fear. And this song came out when I was 8. I was a kid. Okay, that is my opinion on Starstruck. I wish to move on now.
Alrighty then. So, let's move on to the next song called Rich Man, which is kind of like their equivalent to I'm on a Boat by The Lonely Island. Except they now expect us to take it seriously.
Hey, I'm on a Boat is an amazing song.
Well, yeah, I do know that. It's like I'm on a boat minus the boat and anything that made I'm on a Boat remotely listenable. And that's all I really have to say about that. Zach?
Rich Man, I actually enjoyed this song, kind of. The beat flowed really well, and the chorus was actually kind of catchy. I also liked the verse that said, with the rich filled up the sperm bank. I just thought that was very irrelevant, but...
Hey, don't say that around the puppy, okay?
Sorry.
For those of you listening, there was a puppy on Christian's lap there.
But yes, the lyrics were kind of irrelevant and profanic, but not an awful song.
Hi, Shelby?
Okay. I was in the pit band for our high school's rendition of Fiddler in the Roof. And those of you who know that soundtrack, there is a song, If I Was a Rich Man. And I think that this song is on the bonus track of Fiddler in the Roof. It's basically a compilation of like everything of the other songs, like the awful switching from pop to techno to growling to rap. Gwen Stefani, the If I Was a Rich Girl, she would be proud.
Yeah. Christian?
Okay, so we had Rich Man. I think, I didn't have anything bad written about this song, but I thought the DJing was pretty good. And this would probably, I have to say, it'd be my second favorite song on the album. That's all I got for that.
And the 9th song on the album, called Photo Finish, is just abysmal. Shelby, you explain it, because you seem to explain it best.
303 discovers the Snapchat snail feature. They talk in very deep, slow voice. Well, not necessarily slow. It's very deep, like techno robot voices and sexism, and it is terrifying. And a photo finish needs to be photo finish, duh.
Yeah, basically, my opinion on this whole thing was, if you listen to the chorus before, like, it almost kind of sounds like Cookie Monster. Yeah, like, oh, I saw you. Like, it sounds like something I would expect to be off, like, the raunchiest, like, parody of, like, Sesame Street of all time.
This album makes me feel kind of crummy.
Yeah, basically. Zach, what are your points?
Oh, I thought it was a terrible song. It sounded like they needed to release some bowels. I'm sorry. Bad song.
Yeah, basically. Question?
It like switched between a deep voice and a high voice. The high voice sounded like my 4-year-old neighbor. And it was, I don't know, it was very concerning that they would put a little boy's voice on a track like that.
Going back to, like, the Sesame Street metaphor, like the deep voice was like Cookie Monster, and the high voice was like Elmo, so... Oh, and the synth on the song kind of sounds like a hedge clipper that's been auto-tuned underwater. Anyways, moving on. We're on to the next song, called Still Around. Like, this song was so out of place, I accidentally thought, like, Spotify changed the album for, like, 303 to, like, Ben Folds' slightly less talented cousin. Until the drop, and then it sounded like Blonde's Dance Floor covering Ben Folds' slightly less talented cousin. Shelby?
This song, it just didn't really fit with the rest, because it was just so it was just like that teen angst, like 14-year-old romance, like, you're still around. Like, nobody listened to the album for that. And he says something, I can't remember what the lyrics says. He says something about her lips, but my question is, are they still shushed from the song? What even was that song? The Don't Trust Me. We go from Helen Keller to Kylie Jenner, and we just, what can I say? It's still around, and I don't want it to be.
Yeah. No one wants it to be, Shelby. So anyways, Zach?
The beat wasn't that bad at all.
Mm-hmm.
It actually, for some reason, sounded somewhat normal than the others. I don't know, just how all the others just sound the exact same, and really live techno, it just sounded different than the others.
Christian?
It feels like a song you'd sing in church. The lyrics, no.
Jesus is still around.
The flow of it feels like something you would sing in church.
Alright, so 8th song, right back to the same old nonsense. Like, it sounds like an electric razor that's been auto-tuned underwater, probably near the same place where the hedge clippers were, and, like, it sounds more like bad 90s trance as it goes on. Zach?
I'll actually pass out. It is not a terrible song. It's kind of annoying and kind of repetitive, but I just don't understand why they think they deserve half of everything. Because that was literally mostly all of the lines. Half of that, and half of that.
Alright, so Christian?
It was very inappropriate. It says half of your mom in the back. That is sounds very childish. I thought we were done with Yo Mama jokes, like first grade, but they still doing Yo Mama jokes. They at least 20 years old and they doing Yo Mama jokes. That's lame. they need to go get a new music career because that's talk about my mama like that. They gonna get hit.
Yeah, like people stopped like thinking Yo Mama jokes were like legitimately like hardcore in like 1989. So like,
I mean,
it's at least like 2 decades off.
go look at the song. It's like if your mama in the back, give me half. And no, that's weird, man. My mama, you talking about?
Right. So Shelby.
This song, I agree, it should not have been right after Still Around. It didn't really fit. It was like, you're still around to holler till you pass out. It was just awful, and I couldn't, this was the one I didn't finish. I almost cried. It was so bad, and it was just a bunch of growling and yelling.
Yeah. The final song, that being called, of course, Colorado Sunshine, which sounds like a dating site. The song, like the first bit of acoustic instrumentation for like 5 seconds until like the bad 90s trance kicks in, and like the lyrics are essentially like a mashup of like Linkin Park, the dude version of Katy Perry, you know, going back to her, with a hint of like bad My Chemical Romance. Just kind of seems like that bit of a combo. Shelby?
It was just really weird because they're trying to sound all like the type of person that appreciates the Colorado sunrise. It was all techno, and they said in their lyrics something about a train wreck, and that's what the entire album was.
Yeah. Anything
The
else?
sun must set. That is all.
I'll go here. Colorado sunrise. Yeah, I quote you. These are some lyrics in it. It needs. I need to and shave. That's what's the point of saying that? He's got to poop and then shave.
Well, like, to be fair, those are 2 very common things in Colorado and, well, anywhere where razors and water are readily available.
I think those the quality and the time put in the album not very much.
Yeah.
And and shave. That should tell you everything you need to know about the album.
Mm-hmm. Zach?
Well, the intro to the song was kind of useless. I played the song and I didn't even realize that it was on the same album. And then, so that happened for about 20, 30 seconds, and then it just went back into the exact same techno that is on every other song. And there was no point to having that actual, somewhat normal, calm intro that realizing this is a terrible album. So what do you think about the album in general, Jack?
Well, let's go in alphabetical order. Christian, what are your thoughts?
Of the overall of the album?
Yes. Christian?
I'm gonna give it a 5.5.
Okay, Shelby?
Wait, out of 10 or out of 5?
Do it out of 10.
Out of 10, okay, like a 4. There are worse things. I wouldn't listen to for anything. Yeah. Like, yeah.
My opinion would be like 2.5 out of 10. Zach?
Oh, goodness. I'll be honest, I'm kind of embarrassed. I have 4 of these songs already downloaded on my phone before I was forced to listen to the whole album. But I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. All right. I don't know. Yeah.
So that concludes today's podcast. This has been the Album Biz Podcast. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.